What's going on, everybody? Welcome back in, fellow Illumineers. Man, what a time to be playing Disney Lorcana, man. D23 just took place this past week in Anaheim, California, and while there was a ton of news related to movies, shows, the parks, all that fun stuff, man, Lorcana had some major news that dropped, and so we are going to talk about it. So, I'm Lorcana Thanos, the Mad Titan of the Illuminary, and today we are going to talk about all the exciting news coming out of Disney Lorcana. First up, all the photos that I have are from Eric Switzer over at thegamer.com that I took from an article by Joshua Robertson, which you can find in the link down below to check out that article. But yeah, so much came out. So first off, like the panel itself was covering like the past, the present, and of course the future of Disney Lorcana. Of course, you had Ryan Miller and Steve Warner and Shane Hartley and Rochelle was there, and they were talking about like what this past year has been like for the game. A billion cards have been sold with a B. A billion cards have been sold. This game is blowing up. The game's so much fun to play, and they talked about, of course, like how design works, like all that fun stuff, right? And of course, Rochelle talked about the competitive aspect of the DLCs and like how many that have taken place and like the ones that are upcoming. But of course, the big news that we're here to talk about is, of course, what's to come, the future of Lorcana. So they showed off this little number that in set 5 we are getting a seafaring adventure type thing, and that we have the Fab Five, which is Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Daisy, and Pluto in there, um, on in pirate dreads, awesome, uh, and then of course the big news that got everybody excited, continuing with Disney Afternoon, is Rescue Rangers. So we have Chip, Dale, Gadget, Monterey Jack, Zipper. I need this image as a playmat first and foremost, but I've been clamoring for these guys, and I did a video going into Shimmering Skies about predictions, and I asked for Chip and Dale. Was a set short. I was a set short, but I knew they were coming. Ryan also said we're getting this crazy thing, the Black Cauldron, which is like the black sheep of like the Disney animated canon. They're doing Black Cauldron. That is insane. This is a, if you've never seen it, it's on Disney Plus. Go watch it. It's a cult classic. From the 80s, pre-Renaissance era. That movie, actually, if you know the history of Disney and the Black Cauldron, that movie almost sank the studio. So yeah, that was part of when they call like the dark ages, the dark times of Disney animation. Black Cauldron is a part of that. But yeah, like it's in the Horn King is in Villainous, and so I guess there is a little bit of precedent for that. I actually really like playing Horn King and Villainous, but yeah, like Black Cauldron, like that's insane. And then of course, Ryan made the comment of, well, you can finish your princess deck, and I had to like, it was like 11:30 at night, like when I was getting caught up, and I saw the news. I had to like run into the other room and tell my wife that she's a massive fan of Pocahontas is coming to Disney Lorcana. She loves Pocahontas. She loves Miko. She's been asking for Miko since that one preview time. So yeah, she's super excited. Um, and then of course the big announcement: PIXAR is coming in 2026. The fact that they were willing, and of course Rochelle said like, "Oh, we get asked this question all the time," so it makes sense. They don't want to spend another year and a half or almost 2 years, depending on when Pixar is introduced. I'm assuming probably to build off height, it's going to be around Gen Con 2026. Throw that out. That's just prediction. I don't have information. That's just speculation. But yeah, I definitely think like back half of 2026, maybe spring or Gen Con time, is when Pixar is coming. But man, obviously, if we're going to start, introducing Pixar, I know everybody like has their favorites. You got to start with Toy Story. You have to start with Toy Story. Um, I love The Incredibles. I love the crew of Finding Nemo. I love Lightning and Mater. Wally. Want to talk about princesses? You can get Merida. There's monsters. Mike and Sully. There's so much you could do. Obviously, Soul, Onward. Um, you guys know all the films. Yeah, it's so exciting. Back in my quantum gaming days, I did a video on franchises that I want to see. Touched on Disney Afternoon, and I touched on Pixar as the two most likely things. Obviously, they're expanding Disney Afternoon, and Pixar was kind of inevitable. Um, the thing behind me, maybe depends on if they can get Marvel to play. But yeah, that alone would have like blown the roof off. But they talked about more the competitive future of Lorcana and what is to come. European National Championship is at the end of this year, December 2024, and it's being held at Disneyland Paris, which means that they also announced that the North American National Championship being held in Anaheim, California at Disneyland Resort in January 2025. Um, yeah, when we talked about this, when I was on Lorcana Cast, we said this was a no-brainer. It was if you could get the resorts to play ball, this was a no-brainer. Um, Talk about like pure theming for holding your national championship because you don't ideally want to hold it in a convention center, like off-property convention center type setting, right? Like, what a way to like keep it in the family, so to speak, right? Which then after nationals, what do you got to have? A world championship being held in my hometown of Orlando, Florida, at Walt Disney World Resort, sometime in 2025. They did not announce it, but the dream is real. Worlds is happening. As a competitive player who wants to be a world champion, this is literally a dream come true. And of course, everyone who qualifies for Worlds is, of course, going to be doing the classic time honored American sports tradition of you just won. What are you doing? I'm going to Disney World. Um, and who wouldn't blame you? And of course, Rochelle said that all the competitors are getting this amazing. I'm so excited. I'm knocking my mic over. Amazing artwork for a whole new world. It's one of my favorite cards in the entire game. I love this artwork so much. And the world champion gets a one of one gold Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor. And just from the photo, this thing looks amazing. If I'm fortunate enough to be able to compete in the World Championship and I'm able to like just set my eyes on this card, like I can't wait to see it in person. Like, 'cause they said they were very meticulous about making sure like it looked perfect. I'm beyond excited for this. This game, and I talked about it recently on my Lorcana journey. I did a video celebrating the 1 year release, so be sure to go check that out. But I talk about what I wanted for this game, and thank you so much, Ryan, Steve, Rochelle, Shane, Disney, everybody involved with this game. This game has developed into what I wanted it to be. My hype level is through the roof. To quote Vegeta, it's over 9,000. I am so excited for the future of this game. Preparing for DLC Vegas right now. And to wrap up, the other thing that Rochelle said is, well, we have these challenge events, right? But of course, in the game, you can also quest. And she brought up Disney Lorcana quest events, and I think it's such a really cool concept. So the quest events, they are going to be more for social players, so a lighter element. They talked about just having co-op type stuff and just it's not a high competitive event. It's a more relaxed environment. And I think also bringing out, they talked about how, they see that a lot of guests when they go to the parks that they like to get their card signed by characters. So they came up with this little number. And I think it's a no-brainer. It's a such a great way to integrate stuff with the game and into the parks, and then that builds an experience which builds, core memories, to quote Inside Out. And it's just a very synergistic way to keep it like all together. But they're having cards that are, basically blank slates. um vanilla blank slates, like underneath for you to get signed by the characters. And I think that's a great way to do things. So yeah, like I said, I think everything is heading in the right direction, and kudos. I am so hyped. Obviously I wanted to go to Nats regardless, but man, oh man, I'm gonna work my butt off to try to get my invite in Vegas. But yeah, that is it for the video. Be sure to let me know down below what you thought of the news, and what are you most excited for coming out of D23 for Disney Lorcana. So just be sure to give me one of these. They're super helpful and help the algorithm do what it does best, and that gets the video out to people like you. As always, if you like the Lorcana content here on the channel and you want to see more, be sure to smash that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified when I upload new videos every Tuesday and Friday. And as always, you can follow me on the artist, formerly known as Twitter, on X at Lorcana. Thanks for watching, and remember, the hardest choices require the strongest wills. Bye.